Hello, everyone. Welcome to another award-winning edition of the Locker Room Chat. My name is John Williams, and I'm joined by my co-host, Walter Stair. And Walter, thanks for being here again. And
oh yes, glad to be here. Football just around the bend, and getting so ready for it.
I can always count on you, and
oh yeah,
you do a great job, and I appreciate you helping me.
I'm glad to be here.
You're right. It's about a month away, isn't it? High school football.
We like it.
It's king, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
High school
By
football
far.
is definitely king in East Tennessee and across the state of Tennessee. There's also other sports in high school going on in fall. You'll have volleyball and soccer and golf, so we don't want to shortchange those sports, but football seems to rule the roost.
Yeah, it drives the bus, no doubt.
And have you had a good week?
Oh yeah, very good.
You been to the fair yet?
In a certain sense, I've not been to it to enjoy, just taking a lot of different stuff over to the fair, and the flowers, and my wife even judged quilts on Monday, which she didn't even know she was going to have to do in the end, but not gone up there to just run around, just mainly to take stuff up there to be judged and that sort of thing.
So that's the Anderson County Fair we were talking about. It's going on this week. Runs through Saturday, 6 best days of summer. So get on out and visit the Anderson County Fair. It's a little hot, but usually is this time of year.
I know you were there with the honorary mayor earlier in the week.
Yeah, I was there with Freddie, and well, I took him home, but he had on these wrestling boots.
Oh my goodness!
They looked like regular shoes, but he had his baseball pants on. He raised them up, and they were laced up all the way up to his knees. So I don't know how he got them on. I don't know how he got them off. So maybe he slept in them.
Yeah, he knows the secret, I'm sure.
But yeah, Freddie's the almost the honorary president of the fair too. And
I think that's exactly it.
I know Steve Queener is the president and does a great job, and E.T. Stamey, got to see him the other night, and he's doing a lot better. So
we're glad to hear that. He's a fine gentleman. I'm sorry he's had the setbacks he's had.
Right, he's looking good though, and he's on the comeback. So we'll continue to pray for him. Also, just on a down note as well, Wayne Sievers, one of the Clinton's finest,
yes, finest baseball players of all time, and fine gentleman as well.
Yeah, passed away last week, and but yeah, he's the career home run leader at Clinton High School. Had 17. Hit 11 his senior year, but he set that record. It was almost 50 years ago. He's 74 graduate, so it still stands. And as Coach Taylor said last night, he did that using a wooden bat. So nowadays, they got aluminum bats. But yeah, sad to report Wayne passing away.
He also was a tremendous softball player in later years. I guess they said something about 1979 they were like 23-0 or something like that in whatever tournaments they played that particular year.
He's just a great baseball, softball player. Well liked by a lot of people around the area. Also, he's in the Hall of Fame at the Cumberlands too in baseball. So. Also, earlier in the month, Clinton girls lost the basketball assistant. I failed to mention it last week. Craig Dixon passed away. He's a longtime assistant basketball coach at Clinton. He started out helping Coach Lockard back in the mid-2000s when his son Jordan Dixon played.
Okay.
Then he later on went on to help Coach Tanya Snyder direct the Clinton girls program, and then here recently, he's helped Coach Alicia Phillips for Clinton, assistant coach for the girls. Craig was a good friend too, but sorry to pass along those sour notes, but miss those two individuals certainly in the Clinton community. What you got there, Walter? Anything?
A future Clinton opponent, Karn senior running back Deshaun Bishop, has committed to Coastal Carolina, and he, of course, some folks said he might not be as durable or big enough to play in the Southeastern Conference. They say that's a good fit. I wish he would have come to Tennessee, but, you know, that's, I guess, how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, he's an outstanding running back. He almost set the state record last year. Came almost about 150 yards short, I believe, something like that. It was pretty close.
And if Clinton had not held him to under 100 yards, he probably would have got it.
Certainly did. Led the Carnes to their first ever playoff game as well, and also a home game.
Well, I'm sure they were quite excited about that.
I'm not sure if it was their first ever playoff game. I know it was their first home playoff game, but trying to remember Carnes had ever made the playoffs. It may have been their first appearance.
I mean, in all the years I had done it, I couldn't ever recall that they had, but not really sure.
Mm-hmm. But also, yeah, you mentioned Coastal Carolina. That's where Jamie Chadwell, head coach, and
oh, that is right. Boy, that's East Tennessee. Yeah. Very well known.
Former quarterback at Campbell County High School, and also finished up at Anderson County High School. And his brother is the defensive coordinator there at Anderson County now. But yeah, Jamie Chadwell was a really good quarterback at AC back in the mid-'90s. He wore number 21, and he always reminded me of Heath Schuler.
Okay.
He could run and throw it, and good quarterback on some good teams there for Anderson County.
And Buzz Peterson, former Tennessee coach, has been the coach down there in basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basketball, old Buzz, yeah. Buzz ball.
Buzz was pretty well liked at UT, but he never did do super good, but he wasn't super bad. He was just sort of somewhere in between.
Yeah, he couldn't ever really settle on a style of play, could he?
Exactly.
Like he's back and forth, and lost a lot of close games, I know.
Yeah, he certainly did.
Mm-hmm. And Bruce Pearl came in, so.
And Bruce Pearl got it done. There's no doubt.
Bruce Pearl just took off running with the program. But have you watched? Well, first of all, there's the phone lines. You call us. Give us a call. Got any sports you want to talk about? You see the numbers there. Give us a call. Also, if you're out of town, we got a toll-free number. We'd love to hear from you. Any questions you might have or comments? Have you watched any of the media days?
No, I have not.
SEC media days?
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't either, Harlan.
Well, I've got one here about local player Bryson Val out of Anderson County, wide receiver, working extra hard, getting offers from a lot of teams, particularly Memphis and Iowa. Not ready to commit as of yet, hoping to be a factor in Division I football. Val finished last year with 690 yards and 13 touchdowns. Many think he likely would have topped 1,000 yards had the starting quarterback, Walker Martinez, had not sustained an arm injury midway through the season. And they, of course, after he went down with the injury, became more rushing oriented, so not as much passing. And he has picked offers from Iowa, Memphis, Arkansas State, UT Martin, and Murray State. So he's a good one to watch for Anderson County this year.
Yeah, Bryson Val, Bryson Val, yeah, 6'4", wide receiver. Just can really go up and get the football. Saw him this year in basketball, got to college games, and he's a super athlete. Can really jump, and he's really just came on the scene here this year in the summer. A lot of coaches, as you mentioned, Iowa, I think they dropped in on a practice there early, back in June, and offered him a scholarship after the practice, so that's the University of Iowa. That's pretty impressive. And
that is.
Bryson, I think he's weighing his options right now. He's got some on the table, and he's just right now going to concentrate on the season, I think, and see what happens. And
but Iowa and Memphis in particular, top of the totem pole, and Arkansas State, UT Martin, and Murray State a little bit lower, but those are some good offers.
Well, certainly is. I talked to his dad earlier this evening and asked him, AC scrimmage Cofield.
I bet that was a good scrimmage.
Yeah, they scrimmaged them actually as yesterday, and I asked him how they did, the Mavericks against Cofield, and he said Bryson told him that the coaches weren't too happy with how they played, but that's all I heard. But
oh, okay.
Coaches weren't too pleased, but coaches are usually not
too often
right,
anyway.
Right. Got to keep them on edge, especially this time of year.
Oh yeah.
But also, Walter, media days in SEC. I haven't watched any of it either. I think Tennessee's tomorrow, right?
I think so, yes.
I think Tennessee's on the board tomorrow, the final 4 teams at that down in Atlanta. But there was one interesting comment that the Vanderbilt coach made. Did you hear about it?
No, what did he have to
the
say?
head coach at Vanderbilt, Clark Lee, he said that Vanderbilt football, he's hoping, to be the best program in the country. He said it would be just in time, they'll be the best program in the country.
Well, well, the Penn State coach that used to be coach there did quite well with them, but with the situation with their academics, I don't know that they could ever be top of the line in football. I mean, although that guy did quite well with them and actually beat Tennessee quite a few times, but that would be an extremely tall order.
That's a pretty bold statement. Isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is.
What do you think about him saying that?
Well, I myself would not say something like that unless I could somehow, back it up. I don't know how he could possibly think he's got hidden treasures ready to go. I mean, somehow, but that's just rather interesting.
Right. I heard some people talking this morning. Well, he's, it's a crazy statement. Another person said, well, that's, you have to be that way as your coach. That's what you want to be. You want to be the best. And
well, yeah, that's true.
Whether it's Vanderbilt or Alabama, but I guess you could look at it both ways. But you have to admire him in a way, Coach Lee, for taking that approach to be the best program in the country.
Well, he could do which I can't remember the guy's name that's out now at Penn State that was somewhat vocal with Vanderbilt and gave us fits for a few years.
Franklin.
James Franklin. He might, I don't know, he could do that sort of thing again maybe. But
certainly could. And also, Walter, did you know what 2 days, there's no sports today. You know that? Did you realize that?
The All-Star game was yesterday? So there's no baseball and there's no NBA. Well, I guess NBA is done for the year.
Yep, there's no football, there's no baseball, there's no basketball.
No WNBA?
There's no hockey, there's nothing.
You're kidding.
There's only 2 days in a calendar year where there's no sports. And those four sports that I mentioned, I think that's the day before and the day after the All-Star game.
Well, what are we all going to do? What's James Tony Fannin going to do? I mean, I bet he's flipping out.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's snowing out there in Wisconsin. He's out shoveling his driveway.
Maybe. And did you know if you don't shovel your driveway, you can get a fine for that?
I didn't know that.
In the city where he's at, Madison, Wisconsin.
Wow. I don't like shoveling snow, do you?
No, I don't either. I would just have to give myself a fine because my road's way, way off the beaten path.
Yeah, I just let it melt and hope the city don't pile it up in front of my driveway.
Exactly.
They did that once, and I was trying to get out to go to work. When they did that, I just said, I'm just going to go back in the house.
That's it.
Call in.
Go back to bed.
But also, you've heard of the Murphy Fair magazine, ain't you?
Oh, yes.
I saw tonight that it's no longer, after 34 years, there will not be a Murphy Fair magazine.
You're kidding me.
No, well, it's actually named after Murphy Fair. That's the gentleman's name. It's did it for 34 years, and he's retired, I saw. So won't be no Murphy Fair magazine, but I saw where Donovan Stewart is putting one out, and he's with the statewide high school football, and he's got a preview edition as well. So he's sort of taking over for Murphy Fair. That's Donovan Stewart. You just Google his name, and I'm sure you'll be able to find where you can order that high school football preview. It's also, I found it under Main Street Preps as well. There's a link there where you can order that high school football magazine. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's
as
good.
well. And also saw where there's going to be there's 100 new head coaches this year in high school football.
You're kidding me. Well, there's 20 in our immediate region, our immediate area. So 100
there's
across.
20 in East Tennessee.
Got 20 different coaching changes in the 5-star prep coverage area. So.
Wow. So yeah, it's across the whole state. There's 100.
That's unbelievable. I mean, you know, I guess a lot of people going into different things, whether they decide to get out of it because of health reasons, or it's just too hard on them, or they've been doing it forever and a day, or.
There's also 4 in our coverage area: Roan, Anderson, and Morgan.
And that's what, a third of the coaches. Yeah, 4 out of 12. That's something else.
And also, I saw where Oliver Springs and Oak Ridge, their schedule is rated as one of the toughest in the area. You know, Oliver Springs, as you mentioned last week, has 7 road games.
Exactly.
And they're opening up against Rockwood, Kingston, Gordonsville, and Oneida, all 4 of those games on the road. So the new head coach, Tyler Harper at Oliver Springs, pretty tough schedule.
And Gordonsville's always, seems like in the playoffs, they're always high up there.
Yeah, they made the quarterfinals last year, Gordonsville, and Oliver Springs' first home game will be against Greenback, and they close with Cofield and Midway.
Well, that's a very stout schedule, actually.
And a lot of those schools, like their first 4 games, I think 3 of the 4, you know, are higher rated classes, you know, higher classification teams with the Kingston and Rockwood and Oneida. Also, Oak Ridge schedule is picked as one of the toughest in the area. And they open up at South Doyle and then go to Bearden. And they also have, you know, after that, they play Clinton, a big rival there, and then they got Farragut. And also, they also have to travel to defending state champion Powell.
Exactly.
And then the Wildcats will host Greenville on October the 7th.
My goodness. I mean, if you look at this, I mean, I don't know Lenore City's status, but, I mean, all of these other teams, I know for sure, are very capable of going toe-to-toe with Oak Ridge. I mean,
certainly. That's Wildcats went 3-8 last year, so that's the same schedule. It just flip-flopped home and away.
that is no wonder they actually went 3-8. That is a tough schedule. I mean, any way you want to look at it.
And they close with Dobbins, Bennett, and Campbell County. So
they have played Dobbins Bennett since I was a kid, it seems like, and and they always apparently are going to.
They had a little brief lapse there where they didn't play each other, but they got them back on the schedule. That's one of the longest running rivalries in high school football.
Oh, yeah.
And that game will be at where? Oak Ridge?
At Dobbins.
Is that DB?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a few little news and notes. We'll be right back. We're going to take a look at the BBB OEB Law Game of the Week for this 2022 season. And we've got that. Brad has got that out. So we're going to show it to you. We're going to unveil it here when we get back. So you don't want to miss that. The Games of the Week. So stick around. You're watching the Locker Room Chat.
Got a pain in your neck, just turn that wreck into a check. Get the money you need, get the money you want. Call OEB Law.
You can pick anybody to help you with your motorcycle wreck, or you can choose the pros at OEB Law. Let us turn your motorcycle wreck into a check.
Got a pain in your neck, just turn that wreck into a check. Get the money you need, get the money you want. Call OEB Law.
Experience, respect, integrity. Tom McFarland is running for chancellor to bring these values to Chancery Court in the 9th District. Tom has practiced law here for over 30 years. He believes that judges should enforce the law, but never make the law. That's why so many community leaders are proud to support him. When early voting starts on July 15th, vote for justice. Vote for respect. Vote for conservative Tom McFarland for chancellor.
It's the best 6 days of summer. The Anderson County Fair, July 18th through the 23rd. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Kids 15 and under get in free. It's all the fun and rides that you love. Regular admission is only $5 nightly or a $20 season pass. Pay one price available for nightly rides Thursday and Friday. And don't miss the 14th annual truck pull, July 18th through the 23rd. Be there for the best 6 days of summer.
At Earl F. Subaru, we're more than a car dealer. We're a Subaru retailer and Tennessee's only 11-time winner of the Subaru Love Promise Award. We're proud to be active in supporting our community and have fostered partnerships with local charities such as CASA of the Tennessee Valley and the Roane County Animal Shelter. We're also committed to our customers, and our state-of-the-art facility in Kingston features expanded service capacity to provide the quality automotive care that you deserve.
2022 Subaru Outback models are available now at Earl Duff Subaru in Kingston or on the web at duffsubaru.com.
I'm Wayne Best. I'm running for Roane County Executive. I'm running for you, all of Roane Countyans, to make sure that your voice is heard, to make sure that your taxes stay as low as they possibly can, to make sure that your values are looked at, to make sure that the quality of life that we have is the best that it can be. So please vote and support me to be your next county executive. Wayne Best.
I'm Amanda, one of the RN shift leaders at Roane Medical Center. I love the sense of community that we have here. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced, and that's why I choose Roane Medical Center.
I choose Roane Medical Center because this is where my heart is. My family and friends use Roane Medical Center, and I want everyone that comes through our doors to have an experience that makes them as proud of Roane Medical Center as I am.
Find out why Roane Medical Center is the best choice for your future in healthcare. Learn more at roanemedicalcenter.com.
Welcome back into the Locker Room Chat, and we thank you for tuning in, and give us a call. Got a question or comment about high school football or just any sport in general, we'll be able to try to answer that for you. But right now we're going to take a look at the BBB OEB Law Game of the Week on Channel 12. You can see it right here. I'm sure there's other venues you can watch it on. You see there on the bottom, you got replays, Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday, Facebook, Twitter, Boxcast, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, just about, you can watch it. BBBTV12.com, and also, as I mentioned, just right here on Channel 12. The first game, Walter, is a dandy, Powell at Anderson County, and they played each other the last 2 years, and they've been some really good games. I know last year I think was 60-48 in favor of Powell, and that was, I think, the longest game in history.
That is a lot of football and a lot of scoring, and had that big guy on defense for Powell doing some on defense, but it wasn't much of a defensive game. It was offense, 60-48.
Yeah.
And I mean, those type games really get you excited about high school football.
Yeah, I think Walter Nolan spent more time on the turf that night trying to get his win than he did
exactly
actually making any tackles that night. That was, boy, it was a hot night, and I actually got to fill in that night on the high school scoreboard show with Jonathan Cox. David Queener was out of town. I think David actually forgot about it. He was supposed to be here that night, and he was at the beach or somewhere.
Okay.
But Jonathan called me, so I got to help him fill in that night, and I really enjoyed that. But I went to watch Clinton and William Blunt. I told Johnson, so I want to watch this game, and I'll be there as soon as I can. And I left the Clinton game, and that Powell AC game was just like in the third quarter. And I still had a good 30-minute drive here to Oak Ridge, and I got here, and the game was still going on. I was here 10, 15 minutes early.
You got to sit down and relax a minute.
Yeah, I think that scoreboard show, it didn't start till about 11 o'clock that night or after.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, we were here at about 1 that night, I think, but that was a lot of fun. But yeah, Powell at Anderson County, Powell defending state champions. Anderson County is supposed to have a really good team. They played 2 years ago at home at Anderson County. I think that was a Thursday night game, and AC had Powell on the ropes that night, and Powell threw a late touchdown to win. And then last year, Anderson County went to Powell and almost upset.
Right. And I think Anderson County was probably the best, like 6-6 team or something like that. I think they were something like 6-6. They lost all kinds of close games. They won all of their district games and won the districts. I mean, they were gutty, and they had, of course, the injury to the quarterback, which made it difficult for them during the year. But they got into the playoffs and did pretty good.
Yeah, they had a brutal schedule as well. Let's look at week 2. We got Oliver Springs at Kingston. Big Roane County matchup there. As we talked about earlier, Oliver Springs' first 4 games are on the road, and this is week 2. And the Bobcats under first-year head coach Tyler Harper at Kingston. And Kingston really had an outstanding team last year as well.
Last year, they were ball control and a lot of good rushing, and a lot of their linemen, I guess, have graduated, but I'm sure they'll be able to reload.
Yeah, I know they lost their quarterback, Kane Roberts. I'm not sure about on the line. I'm probably sure they lost a few, but I remember Coach Pankey talking about their linemen. He was really high on their line play last year, and I think Kingston, they went they went as far as they could go last year. Pretty much, I think they ran into Alcoa. So.
Well, that unfortunately happened.
I think so. They might have lost to another team. Don't have those in front of me right now, but they did have a really good season. I think they hosted their first playoff game in about 20 years last year. Kingston did, so that was good to see the Yellow Jackets get to play at home in the playoffs. Oliver Springs fell short of the playoffs last year, had a young team, and I think they'll be sort of still young this year, so they got some really good young players.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's look at week 3. Clinton Dragons at Oak Ridge, and that'll be a good game there, I think. Clinton trying to get their first win over the Wildcats since 2009.
It's been too long, too much of a dry spell, and Tennessee did. Tennessee, Lord, I've got Tennessee on my mind with Clinton. Those are my favorite teams, high school and college-wise. But Clinton with Coach Keith and quarterback Keith did so well against Oak Ridge last year, but couldn't push it through and really played Oak Ridge pretty well until the latter part of the game.
Yeah, it certainly did there. Clinton had some calls go against them in the first half, and then in the second half, kicking game sort of hurt them, and had another play there early in the second half where it looked like a pick six, but didn't make the play to make it happen. And Oak Ridge they were just rolling downhill that night. They had the field position, and Clinton just couldn't recover pretty much from that, as it sort of got away from them a little bit there in the second half.
Seems like this might be the longest dry spell, although I know we won in 82 and 72 and 86, but it seems like that might be the longest.
I believe that's the longest.
Yeah, but it's getting close to that now.
Sure is, but Oak Ridge got a first-year head coach coming in, Scott Cummings, replacing the Hall of Fame coach Joe Gaddis, and Oak Ridge made a good hire there with Cummings.
Yeah, very much so.
The Wildcats went 3-8 last year, and I think they'll be much better than that this year. They've got 3 Division I recruits on that team, led by Brandon Hayward, and he's just a junior. He's getting Power 5 offers, and they also have Isaiah Rogers, back. He was hurt some last year. I think he only played 6 games, and Ja Hunley, both those kids transferred in from West last year, and those 3 really good players right there. I think I heard something about Oak Ridge. They're going to really have good. They'll have good skill players, a lot of speed, but their line's a little undersized, I heard.
Huh.
But we shall see. Clinton trying to break that streak, as you said, and it's sort of hard to do. Teams get in your head a little bit. And
exactly.
It's sort of hard to break that streak, but Clinton's haven't had any wins at Blankenship. The last one was 2009. They won at Oak Ridge, and that's the last time Clinton won at Oak Ridge. And besides that, I think you have to go back to maybe the 40s. I think the last time they won at Oak Ridge.
Well, it's according to whether they changed the contract or an odd or even year, but 1997 they beat them, if I'm not bad.
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you there. You was just calling that game, wasn't you?
Yeah.
Right. That sounds better. Yeah. I forgot about that 97 game.
Because I was going to call one of my close friends, Jim Hollingsworth, which I did call him, but his son was an infant and woke him up, and that flipped him out because I called him pretty late. And I remember that because I had to tell him that Clinton won, which was, of course, an oddity at that time. And he was glad to know, but it woke up his infant son at that time. So.
Yeah, I remember I called home. I was down in the swamp watching Peyton Manning that night, and I actually missed that 97 game. And I called home and asked Mom who won, and she said Clinton. And I said, what? I said, no way. She said, yeah. We won, and I couldn't believe it. So,
yeah.
Let's look at week 4 there, Chandler. Here's a big rivalry game too, Rockwood at Kingston. And Coach, we talked about Kingston there a little bit a while ago, but here's Rockwood. The Tigers went 8-4 last year, and coached by longtime coach John Webb. They're traveling into Kingston, so that'll be a good one.
Kingston's in a lot of those big rivalry games. They've got rivalries with Oliver Springs, Rockwood. It seems like they play Coalfield at different times. They play a lot of teams that really go after.
Harriman, and just a lot of teams there in Roane County. I like how they all play each other.
Oh yeah.
And Rockwood's going to be led this year, I believe, by running back Dakota Waldo, and also a big lineman they got back, Nehemiah Strong. So the Tigers made the playoffs last year, so I know they're looking forward. This is a big matchup right here. It's not a region matchup, but it'll be a good game. Let's go to week 5. Here's South Dole at Anderson County. That should be a good game. Clark Duncan's left South Dole, and they got a new coach, don't they, Walter?
They certainly do, and I think they'll have the same sort of tradition, but Clark Duncan had them very tough, and he was tough for years at Powell and then on to South Doyle, and I guess it's time for him to head on to other things. I guess he's been in the system for a long time.
Yeah, they'll miss Clark Duncan. Did an outstanding job there at South Dole. I think he took them to the semifinals twice, and it was unheard of before he got there.
Yeah.
And I think he was there 13 years, and this is a region game right here. Anderson County went to South Dole last year and won. It was a big win, big region win for the Mavericks. Of course, they went undefeated and won the region last year. They've been undefeated the last 5 years in the region play. So this will be a good game at Anderson County on September the 16th. Let's go to week number 6. Oakdale at Oliver Springs. This should be a really good game. Head coach J.R. Voles at Oakdale had the Eagles in the playoff last year, actually hosted their first ever playoff game, and they will be going into Oliver Springs, big region game, I believe. So
Oliver Springs will actually have a home game there. That's
one of their 3 home games.
Right.
So it may even be homecoming for the Bobcats.
I'd say so. That'll be a tough one homecoming-wise against Oakdale. So.
Oakdale has had a really good season last year. Went 8-4, made it to the second round of the playoffs, and we had Coach Voles on last year, and he had some young kids. It was up and coming program, so I'm sure he's got some good players back.
Oh yeah.
So let's go to week 7. We got Oneida traveling to Rockwood. So this will be Rockwood's. This will be their 3rd appearance or second. Yeah, second appearance for Rockwood. So Oneida coming in. This is a big region game, 2A region. I know. Trying to think. Oneida's head coach. He stepped down, didn't he?
Yes.
I think last year was his last year. I was trying to think. I might be thinking of Tony Lambert. Yeah, that was a couple years ago.
Okay.
But Oneida, always tough team. So this will be a head knocker game right here.
Yes, it certainly will be. Very physical between both.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to week 8. You got the Dragons at home against Lenore City, and orange and black right here for both teams. I think this is Clinton's homecoming game.
Okay. What do we know about Lenore City going in? Don't they have a new coach this year?
I'm not sure. They may.
It seems like they have sort of up and down years. It's hard to get a pulse on exactly what they're going to do from year to year.
I know Clinton went into Lenore City last year and won rather handedly, but Lenore City at Clinton, so this is a region game as well, so it'll be a big game for the Dragons as they try to get back into the playoffs for the first time since 2015. Let's go to week 9. And first time here, we're seeing the Wartburg traveling to Rockwood, the Bulldogs. And the Bulldogs last year, they got a new coach this year. They went 2-7 last year. They're Dustin Peels, first-year head coach, trying to get the Bulldogs back into the playoffs, as this is a region game as well in 2A. So it's good to see Wartburg on the schedule. We'll have to get Coach Peels in here this year. Okay, is it week 10 coming up?
Yes.
And Oliver Springs at Cofield, big rivalry game right here.
Oh, very much so. When we get Cofield, they always talk about Oliver Springs a lot of the teams they want to beat, and they definitely get a lot of excitement on both ends.
I saw these two schools play a few years ago in the playoffs, and you know, it was a huge crowd there at Cofield, and no doubt it'll be another huge crowd that night, October 21st in Cofield. And we got week 11, I think it's, Brad said that's going to be his flex game. So we can see what transpires, you know, sort of like the NFL.
Exactly.
We got a possibility at Kingston at Loudon, Oliver Springs at Midway, or Clinton at Carnes for a possibility for week 11 game. And you know, you look at that Clinton and Carnes game, that could be for a playoff berth.
That very much could be for a playoff berth. And Kingston, Loudon, they were in a big one last year as well. So.
Yeah, Kingston at Loudon. Loudon had a good team. They lost their quarterback. I know that, coach's son, but it'll be tough. Always tough when you go down to play the Redskins.
Oh yes.
So right now we're going to go ahead and take our second break of the night, and we'll be right back. You're watching the Locker Room Chat.
Call OEB Law today and let us turn your motorcycle wreck into a check.
You got a pain in your neck, just turn that wreck into a check. Get the money you need, get the money you want. Call OEB Law.
Hello, I'm Criminal Court Judge Jeff Wicks, and I'm proud to support Tom McFarland for Chancellor. I've known Tom for over 50 years, and he has the integrity, the intellect, the patience, and the temperament to be a great chancellor.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We'll buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Herman and Rockwood.
It's the best 6 days of summer. The Anderson County Fair, July 18th through the 23rd. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Kids 15 and under get in free. It's all the fun and rides that you love. Regular admission is only $5 nightly or a $20 season pass. Pay one price available for nightly rides Thursday and Friday. And don't miss the 14th annual truck pull, July 18th through the 23rd. Be there for the best 6 days of summer.
At Earl F. Subaru, we're more than a car dealer. We're a Subaru retailer and Tennessee's only 11-time winner of the Subaru Love Promise Award. We're proud to be active in supporting our community and have fostered partnerships with local charities such as CASA of the Tennessee Valley and the Roane County Animal Shelter. We're also committed to our customers, and our state-of-the-art facility in Kingston features expanded service capacity to provide the quality automotive care that you deserve.
2022 Subaru Outback models are available now at Earl Duff Subaru in Kingston or on the web at duffsubaru.com.
I'm Wayne Best. I'm running for Roane County Executive. I'm running for you, all of Roane Countyans, to make sure that your voice is heard, to make sure that your taxes stay as low as they possibly can, to make sure that your values are looked at, to make sure that the quality of life that we have is the best that it can be. So please vote and support me to be your next county executive. Wayne Best.
I choose Rome Medical Center because this is where my heart is. My family and friends use Rome Medical Center, and I want everyone that comes through our doors to have an experience that makes them as proud of Rome Medical Center as I am. I'm Nancy Easter, Manager of Materials at Rome Medical Center, and I'm so happy to work for an employer that values me and makes me feel appreciated.
Find out why Roane Medical Center is the best choice for your future in healthcare. Learn more at roanemedicalcenter.com.
Call OEB Law today and let us turn your motorcycle wreck into a check.
You got a pain in your neck, just turn that wreck into a check. Get the money you need, get the money you want. Call OEB Law.
Hello, my name is Sheriff Jack Stockton. I am here to tell you I'm supporting Tom McFarland as Chancellor of this district. He is a personal friend of mine and a great lawyer. He knows the laws of Tennessee and will be fair and just to everyone he serves.
Mention that. All right, back into the locker room chat. Phone lines are open. Give us a call. And Walter, you was talking about the winningest coach in the state of Tennessee in high school football, Gary Rankin.
Yeah, I was wondering, since he left Alcoa, how good Alcoa is going to be this coming year. He of course, went to Boyd Buchanan. Chandler looked that up for us. We appreciate that. But I'm amazed a guy can have so many state championships and how it's like they grow state championships over at Alcoa and Maryville. I don't know how that is exactly, but.
Yeah, it's amazing to be that close apart, you know.
To two superpowers in high school football.
Yeah, Rankin, he's going to Boyd Buchanan. I think it's a Class A school, so they've had some success in the past as well.
Right.
I think his son's down there. I think we might recall, his son may be on the staff, or he's down closer to family down there.
Well, that makes sense, I guess.
Boyd Buchanan, I don't know their nickname, or the Buccaneers, man.
Probably.
Sounds right. No.
Yeah.
BBB. All right, we got some rankings here. We're going to look at 6A and 5A football. And this is Tennessee high school football previews, where I got this from. This is from sports writer Carter Mansfield, and he's put out his top 15 for Class 6A. Of course, we don't have any 6A teams in our viewing area.
Right.
But we'll run through them here real quick. And you mentioned some of the top players in 6A this year. There's a kid out of Ravenwood, a quarterback, and he's one of the players to watch. He recently decommitted from Florida State. He backed off his commitment, so he's still out there. His name is Chris Parson. He's a quarterback there at Ravenwood. Also, Noah Vaughn from Maryville. He's committed to Virginia. He's a running back.
Well, tell him to come to Tennessee.
Well, he's going to Virginia. You got a kid, wide receiver, tight end out of Independence, Ty Lockwood. Also from Maryville, an offensive lineman, Cal Grubbs. And he is committed to Liberty.
Okay.
He's an offensive lineman from Maryville. And going back to that Lockwood kid, Ty Lockwood, he's committed to Ohio State. So pretty good player there in the mid-state area. Also from Riverdale, a defensive lineman, Caleb Herring. He's widely considered one of the top prospects in this class. He is not committed anywhere. Also, you got a linebacker out of Beach, Bronco Hanks. All these players are supposed to be like the top players at each position here. So Bronco Hanks, he's got a good name, don't he?
Yeah, he certainly does. That's a football name if there ever was one.
And a defensive back from Oakland, Eric Taylor. Oakland's just really good teams. I think they've won at state last couple of years. They've eliminated Maryville.
When you do that, you're doing something.
And a place kicker out of Farragut, punter and kicker, Reese Keeney. So look looking at some of his Carter Mansfield's region predictions and Region 1 6A, he's got Dobbins Bennett winning that region up there, followed by Science Hill, Jefferson County, West Ridge, Morristown East, and he's got William Blount at number 6. And of course, Clinton opens up the season at home against William Blount. So he's got William Blount 1-9. So hopefully that one win won't be over the Dragons.
Well, let's certainly hope not.
No, I don't think so.
And Dobbins Bennett predicted to be 9-1. They'll be taking on the Oak Ridge Wildcats. That further, according to their predictions, solidifies a very tough schedule for Oak Ridge.
Going down to the Region 2 and 6A, Maryville on top, predicting them to go undefeated, followed by Bradley Central, Farragut, Cleveland, Bearden, and Hardin Valley. And interesting in that, looking at it, Walter, he got Bearden at 1-9. He's picking. I think Bearden will be better than that.
I think that they'll be higher than that, and there could be. Although Farragut did a whole lot better in the end last year, but
yeah, they certainly did. They came on and made it to the quarterfinals.
But so did Bearden. Bearden did a whole lot better towards the end of the year. So
that's a tough region.
Very tough.
But that's just to look at. Some of the other regions are further down in Middle Tennessee. You got picking Lebanon to win Region 3. You got Oakland winning Region 4. He's got Beach winning Region 5. Cane Ridge, Region 6. Ravenwood, Region 7. Whitehaven out of Memphis, Region 8. And here's his top 15, his preseason top 15. He's got Oakland and Maryville 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's no surprise
right there. Yeah,
no surprise there. Then followed by Ravenwood with that quarterback, as we mentioned. Also Bradley Central at 4, Lebanon 5, Independence, Whitehaven. You got Summit there at number 8, and Summit played Oakland last year in the state championship. I think they won it the year before that. They were a 5A team. And you got Blackman, Riverdale, Beach, Dobbins, Bennett at number 12, Collierville, Bartlett, and Cane Ridge.
I think the team Blackman, I don't recall ever hearing of them, but.
Yeah, they're down in the Murfreesboro area.
Oh, okay.
That's where Juwan Jennings played.
Oh, okay.
And but Collierville, you know what their nickname is?
No.
The Dragons.
Oh, really?
Or the Dragons, yeah. I think there's only 3 teams in the state named the Dragons. You got York, Clinton, and you got Collierville. But not many local teams in 6A there. You got Maryville.
Exactly.
I guess Bradley Central, and then you got DB, but I don't see the Wildcats are 5A, but yeah,
right.
It used to be 6A. But anyway, let's go to 5A. He's also got his 5A poll out, so let me see if I can find it. This is the State of Tennessee High School Football Class 5A preseason preview. We got about 7 minutes left in the show, and we'll go over this real quick and looking at some of the players to watch in this. This is the first time we've seen this. You got Jordan Potts there at Powell, the quarterback who's committed to Tennessee Tech. These are Carter Mansfield's players to watch at each position across the state. He's got Jordan Potts there at Powell, quarterback.
And he of course, led Powell to a state championship last year, earning Blue Cross Bowl MVP honors in the process. So, yeah, he's a good one.
Go ahead and run them down, Walter, and got running back.
Of course, Deshaun Bishop, which Bishop was one of the nation's leading rushers last season and is the defending 5A Mr. Football winner. Following a summer commitment to Coastal Carolina, Bishop will look to defend his Mr. Football title and lead Cards to a deep playoff run. And they, of course, made the playoffs probably for the first time ever last year, which,
yeah,
quite good indeed.
Yeah, quite the player. We touched on Bishop there earlier. At the wide receiver, also from Powell, Darius Redmond. He's got a lot of offers, several SEC offers. He's not committed anywhere yet, but Also, he plays alongside Aiden Green there at Powell. He's a Cincinnati commit, so Powell's got the wide receivers and the quarterback.
Well, they're getting the commitments.
And they play Maryville this year. You think they could beat Maryville?
It's a possibility.
It's been a long time since a Knoxville team beat Maryville.
A long time.
Also, offensive lineman from Henry County, Luke Brown. Another defensive lineman from Powell, Stephen Souls. He's just a junior.
Oh, yeah, and a big one, too.
Yeah, he's going to fill in for Walter Nolan. Said his Souls had 17 sacks last season. From Mount Juliet, a senior linebacker, Ethan Crisp. And he says Crisp is committed to Vanderbilt. So Mount Juliet's defense should be one of the better units in 5A.
And apparently the recruits out of Tennessee getting a lot of, in other words, sign-ups for different teams across the country. I mean, a lot of commitments.
Mm-hmm. They got a kid from Catholic coming in. Like he's hurt right now, though. His last name is Duncan.
Oh, yes. I had something on that. He's a big fella, and he ended up with a broken leg, stepped in a hole and hurt himself, and he will be out until the second or third week of the season for Catholic. Although I can't figure out where.
Trevor Duncan, I believe is his name.
Yes, that's his name.
Here's a player from Oak Ridge, Elijah Rogers, as we talked about earlier, DB wide receiver. So Rogers getting some credit here. Should be a much improved Oak Ridge team, it says. Also from Daniel Boone, a kicker, Ben Shrewsbury. And Mr. Football pick, he's picking Bishop. So that's no surprise there from Carnes.
Well, Tennessee needs him for sure.
Yeah, maybe we can decommit him. Maybe Heupel can get him over here.
That sounds good to me.
But region predictions in Region 1 5A, Daniel Boone picked to win that region up there in Upper East Tennessee, followed by Davy Crockett, Tennessee High, Bristol, Morristown West, and Cherokee. And Cherokee's on the Dragons schedule. Region 2 5A, they got Knoxville West, followed by Central, Halls, Sevier County, and then Heritage and Cott County. Region 3, you got Powell, picked to win it. He's got them going 8-2. You got Oak Ridge going 8-2. Second place, you got Carnes in third at 6-4. It's got Clinton in fourth in that final playoff spot, going 7-3, and 2-3 in the region play. So he's got the Dragons in the playoffs. You got Campbell County at number 5, and Lenore City at 6. In Region 4 5A, you got Ray County, Walker Valley, McMinn County, Ooltewah, and Howard. Region 5, Green Hill. That's a new team there coming on the scene. Green Hill's got them undefeated, followed by Mount Juliet, Station Camp, Hillsboro, Wilson Central, White County, and Hunters Lane. And these other regions, in Region 6, you got Page winning it. Region 7, Henry County. Region 8, Memphis Central. And his top 15 is Powell winning it at Green Hill, number 2. Also, West is 3rd. Local teams, you got Central 7th, Oak Ridge 8, Ray County 9. You got Halls coming in at 14.
Well, that should be interesting.
Yeah, 5A is pretty competitive. I like the 5A.
Yeah. Good representation in East Tennessee.
Right. So that's going to do it here for the locker room chat. We'll be back next week. And Walter, anything before we go? We got about 20 seconds.
Sounds good to me. I just go Dragons, and let's get it going August 18th.
That's right. So thank everyone for tuning in, and we'll be back next week. So we'll see you. You've been watching the Locker Room Chat.